Hey YouTube. Well, if you are a subscriber or follower of my channel, Poor Redneck World, you know it's been a while since I've been posting some videos. I apologize. My friend's computer kind of got hit by a pretty sinister virus, and I haven't got internet at my place currently. Then I got a job that was interfering schedule-wise with my ability to film and then go to his house and upload. But anyway, things have changed. He's got a new computer with his income tax money, and I recently lost my job through a temp agency, which turned out to be all too temporary. But anyway, I'm gonna try to start to get videos flowing again, keep my subscribers happy, kind of keep the ball rolling. So anyway, if you've followed my channel, Poor Redneck World, you know that this is my 96 Dodge Neon, and I've had a few issues with it in the past. I had a fuel pump fuse blowing issue, which I made a video on how I had to bypass that. And of course, living on the highway, always got lots of traffic coming through, so had to bear with me in that area. Anyway, so I had a video with the fuel pump went out. I had the starter went out on it. You know, it's a 96. I bought it for cheap. It's starting to nickel and dime me to death. But anyway, we got another problem with it today, which is what I'm working on it. I had been planning on working on it this afternoon or this morning to get ready for the beginning of my next work week, which seems to be a moot point now since I no longer have a job. So anyway, get it running again so that I can go hopefully find work. Anyway, here's the issue. Power steering pump. There's the reservoir. A while back we had a real cold snap come through the area, and I mean cold. Minuses in the temperatures. And start the car in the morning, and it would be, you would have power steering, but it would be kind of stiff, and you can just make out a little noise coming from the pump, which is actually right here on the 96 Dodge Neon. And applicable cars, the 96 Neons, the Plymouth Neons, from like 95 up to 98, I think, maybe 99. But anyway, so there's the power steering pump right there hiding underneath the AC hose beneath the rad cap. And anyway, so the power steering would be stiff and make a little bit of noise. And as you can see, pull this cover off here. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but there's fluid. There's plenty of fluid in there. It's not the greatest fluid in the world, but there's power steering fluid in it. So anyway, you know, the power steering wouldn't be wonderful when it was cold, but if you let it sit here and idle and warm up, bring everything up to operating temp, then power steering would come back and it'd be fine. Well, after a while, the car decided to do a flip-flop, and you'd have power steering when it was cold, albeit stiff, but you would have power steering. And there goes a very loud motorcycle. Anyway, you'd have power steering when it was cold, and then by the time I got from here to where I worked, power steering would be completely out. And then a few days ago, I was leaving a fast food restaurant, get dinner, and head home, and trying to make a U-turn around an island on highway US 412, and the power steering decided that was it, and it just quit. And there is no power steering in the car right now. So I'm hoping, above all hope, that it's just the pump. I believe it is, and I say that because I've never replaced a rack on this car, and now that I'm not working, I don't seem to have the money to do that kind of repair anyway. But anyway, this pump right here, new from like AutoZone or O'Reilly's or wherever, anywhere from $76.97 up to $93, I think, was the highest I was quoted. And on Poor Redneck World, keyword here is poor, don't have a lot of money to do this, so here's what I did instead. Went to a salvage yard and picked up this used power steering pump. This was actually off of, let's see, what did this come off of? I don't think the receipt showed it, but I do have a list here, or I had a list here, I guess it's gone, of the cars I was looking at. Yeah, and anyway, it was like a 99 neon, so I paid like $30 for this. I pulled it with the bracket just because I didn't have all the necessary tools to pull the pump off the bracket, and I thought it was just easier. Comes with the pulley and the bracket. So if you want to know how to get to and replace power steering pump on a 96 neon, what you're going to need. More traffic coming through town, gotta love it. Okay, so what you're going to need to do this is, and we'll kind of illustrate back at the car, since I don't have editing software to do this, it's going to be in sequence. Anyway, so here's your first power steering line, connects to the pump. That you're going to need 7/8 socket, fits it very nicely. This power steering line is held on with one of these piece of junk crimp hose clamps, which I don't prefer. I'm actually going to replace that with the band style with the threaded portion. Then there are 2 bolts on the back side here, hiding underneath this radiator hose. One on top, and I know I ain't going to get a very good shot, but there's one way down there, and there's one on top. And I don't think I can get a shot with. Anyway, it's on the back side of the bracket, hiding underneath this radiator hose. And the size for that is 1/2 inch. And then, in order to remove the actual pump from the bracket, which I'm going to do here, simply because I don't want to mess with pulling this back bolt. If you want to pull it off with the bracket, there's one bolt here, which is difficult to get to, and then there's the back bracket bolts, which I just illustrated. I was able to get this pulley off quite readily because the car that I pulled it off of was actually wrecked pretty hard, so things were out of my way, just enough for me to get in there and not have much of an issue. But if you're going to remove the pump from the mounting bracket, you're going to need a deep well 1/2 inch socket. There's 3 bolts, and you're going to need to access them in these openings in the front pulley, and that will dislodge the pump from the mounting bracket. And of course you're going to lose fluid when you disconnect this line and this line here. Now with this is the bolt, the top line here. Notice those ports. It actually allows the power steering fluid to, there we go, and there is a seal, a rubber, see if the camera can get this. Well, anyway, there's a rubber O-ring here, and you need to check that, because if that leaks, it's going to leak. So check it for cracks. This one actually looks and feels quite nice. So just make sure you don't lose any seals, otherwise you're going to have power steering leaks on your hands. Again, you're going to have on this port here, you're going to have the crimp style hose clamp, which I detest. I purchased one of these guys. May actually have to go down to a smaller size, but this is the kind of hose clamp I prefer whenever I come across a problem or a part that's got the press-on style. I always try to replace them with the better ones. So anyway, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to have to pull this pump out of here, and if I can do so, I'm going to try to avoid pulling this top radiator hose, because I don't have any more money for coolant, and I don't have any more coolant on hand, and at the moment I don't have a catch basin that's watertight to catch any coolant that I lose. So anyway, you've got the top bolt here for your fluid line, connection point here for the fluid line, 2 bolts on the back side of the mounting bracket, and then your mounting bolts back there, and we should be able to get that power steering pump out of there and on the way. So anyway, I'll shoot a secondary video when I get everything said and done. Hopefully the old beast will live to serve again. Also discovered, I don't know when or why, but I lost my cover for my fuse block in the engine bay. I have no idea when that happened. There goes a car hauler. Half empty. Anyway, I don't know when I lost the cover to my main circuit block, but I found one on the same neon that was wrecked, and I paid like $3 for it. So anyway, that's what we're up to. Thanks for watching. Comments welcome. Oh, speaking of comments, apparently there's something going on between Google and YouTube. I haven't been getting all my comments lately. That's why I haven't been responding to the comments that I've been receiving. Apparently I have to open a Gmail account, so I'll get to that as soon as I can. Just have to continue to check with my account. There goes a timber truck. And anyway, thanks for watching. Comments always welcome.